Hey guys, today we have a special guest, and her name is Alexandra Ndolo, Polish, German, Kenyan, and she's a fencer. What the hell?
I'm fencing.
Oh, exactly like that, but you get the drift. And we're so excited to have her. She is an Olympian. She is a bronze, silver winning fencer, so you don't play. She will fence your tail off if you try and mess with her. And so we're so excited to have her join us today to tell us her story and what she has going on. How do you feel? Please don't do that when she comes on.
See you guys in a minute.
Meet Alexandra Ndolo, a trailblazing épée fencer making waves in the world of sports. Born in Germany to a Kenyan father and Polish mother, Alexandra represents Kenya on the international stage with fierce pride and purpose. Beyond her achievements in fencing, she's a passionate advocate for diversity, identity, and challenging stereotypes in elite athletics. Join us as we dive into her powerful journey of heritage, resilience, and breaking barriers.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. I've come off of a really crazy stretch where we first had a competition in Colombia and then
Mm-hmm.
one in China within less than 3 weeks, like going back and forth.
Oh,
So
wow.
lots of jet lag, but yeah, I'm good.
We're definitely going to get into that. But, first of all, thank you for your time. Thanks for making time. I know we had to reschedule. You are a busy bee, so still finding time to connect with us. Definitely, we appreciate it. Again, thank you for following the magazine. I was made aware of that. So when I
Yeah.
was told of that, I checked her out. I was like, let's interview her. She is someone that
Yeah.
we definitely want to interview. So thank you for your support. We really appreciate that. So first and
Thanks for
foremost,
having me.
oh,
Thanks
no
for having
problem.
me. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
problem. No problem. So let's kind of like take it back just a little bit,
Mhm.
right? Um, we don't really see Africans in the sports that you're in.
Mm.
What inspired you to get into it?
So I have a 5-year older sister.
Hmm.
And you know how it is. That is such a big age gap that you kind of end up being the one who admires the older one, right? So whatever she did, I wanted to do as a copycat. And also our mom was kind of like, yeah, just take the little one with you. Whatever you do, that will be easier. And lucky enough, I liked the sports that my sister was doing. So we started out doing track and field. From track and field, my sister wanted to try out modern pentathlon, which is a sport that's even weirder, I think, to Africans than fencing because it consists of fencing, running, horseback riding,
Oh my,
shooting,
What?
yeah, and swimming. Yeah, it's like
what?
it's everything. And somehow because we grew up in a small town in Bavaria in the south of Germany,
Hmm.
but they had that sport as an extracurricular activity. And my sister, yeah, she tried it out. She loved it. I tried it out. I loved it. And so we were doing this as teenagers. And fencing was kind of the one sport out of the five that I loved the most.
Hmm.
And so when I was 21, I specialized
Wow.
What
in
is it about?
fencing.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. What is it about fencing that you
Mm.
love compared to the other sports that you did?
So fencing for me never gets boring because it's a sport where you engage. Yes, it's a combat sport, so it's not just kind of working with an apparatus, for example. I mean, yes, I know gymnastics is super challenging, but you have your vault, right? And it's stationary, and you have to kind of engage. You can't engage with it. You have it there, and you have to find a way how to work with this, right? But in a fencing match, I could fence the same person for 1 week every day, and the match would be probably different because it also depends on the mood, on the new strategy. So I like that challenge of being able to engage with someone, but also having to figure out how that person will react today to what I'm doing, to supposed to what they reacted to yesterday.
Did you have a built-in training buddy with your sister? Were you guys practicing all the time, like just for fun, or did you keep it just at practice?
That's a good question because I think I really was that the kind of fangirl, as that yeah. So you would probably have to ask her because I loved spending time with her. Of course, she's my big sister. When I'm 10, she's 15. When I'm 15, she's 20. So she's always like two steps ahead doing cool things. So I was just happy, to spend time with her. Oh, sorry, at home, but also spend time with her in practice, So I would say, yeah, I had a built-in training buddy. Maybe she would say sometimes it was really annoying because she was tagging a lot.
Like, dang, I can't get no
Yeah,
fun with this girl following me. I
yeah.
was like thinking when I asked you about what you like about fencing, I won't lie. What went through my mind was I want to beat every person that comes around me, like take the sword and like slash them. But
Yeah,
it's really
Oh my gosh, it's such an intense and such a very you have to be so present. You've got to be like
yes,
so you
yeah.
can't afford to not be in the moment. So I
yes.
come from a background of like I'm a sword enthusiast and fencing.
Mhm,
What really excites me about it is how fast it is. I mean, you have to watch your component or opponent's body, right?
Mhm.
mhm.
So
Exactly.
how do you have that laser focus? How do you know when you're on and when you're out? Like, what is that kind of a
Mhm.
stamina like?
I think okay, you should have a natural talent probably in like being someone who's naturally able to focus, but it's also a sport that forces you to focus. If you're not practicing mindfulness, if you're not in the moment, if you're not able to also shut down distractions, you will not be successful. And I think in our times, I mean, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Insta, like probably most of us. I watch reels, so sometimes I'm like, wait, what, why did I even get on the app? What was my intention? So
Uh-huh.
my attention span also suffers.
Mhm.
I love the apps, but I'm also very conscious that if I have a competition day, my phone is in flight mode. Very
Mhm.
rarely will you see
Mhm.
me post something on competition day or even the day before because I need to practice being present and in the moment. And I think most of us are trying to avoid negative emotions these days. We try to just distract us. If something doesn't feel nice, then just, for example, go in the apps or eat
Uh-huh.
something and distract us. You can't afford that in fencing. You have to sit in those sometimes uncomfortable moments and be aware of the fact that you're nervous, right? I mean, every time I go to a World Cup, that's what our Grand Slams are called. Every time I go there, I'm nervous. Every time I start a match, I'm nervous. I have those butterflies, even though I already won a silver at the World Championships, because it's a fight situation. And I acknowledge that this is part of the game. As soon as I don't have those butterflies and I'm not at least a little bit anxious anymore, it means I don't care. And then I might as well stop doing the sport,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
I would
So,
think I would think that it would be the opposite in terms of I'm ready for this. But
Mm.
you're saying that no, you have to
You like accept all of that, all
exactly.
of
It's
the
okay.
commotion.
everything,
Wow.
exactly. So of course I love fighting. It's not like I don't want to beat down people, but I love fighting, and I love the physical fight. Honestly, I'm happy that I have a helmet on, a mask, and that no one can punch my face. So I would not be a boxer, no chance. But engaging with someone and having that physical presence, I love that. But still, because I care, there will always be a small part that's like I really don't want to lose. I want to win
Mm.
this fight, and
Mm.
uh, who knows what my opponent will come up with? Who knows what the coach will come up with? When I switched my fencing nationality to Kenya,
Mhm.
there were many competitions where I had to go because my budget was so low. I couldn't go with a coach. And it sometimes gets lonely if you are in this, like you have literally
Wow.
no one in your corner and you try to figure it out. And on the other side might be a woman who has a coach and teammates and maybe parents cheering her on. And you're like, okay, let's try to figure this out. So of course there will also be some uncomfortable emotions. I wouldn't call them negative, but difficult emotions. Yeah.
Let me ask. So and that was actually something I was going to ask, but you pretty much brought it real to the forefront. Um, what made you decide to change the country you're representing, and what was the reaction to that?
So My dad's Kenyan. I think I have to start from that. My dad is Kenyan. My mom's Polish. I grew up in Germany because my father did his PhD thesis in Germany.
Mhm.
And when I was pretty young, when I was 5, my parents separated and divorced. And when I was 10, my father died.
Mhm.
So now imagine living in a predominantly white country, but being black or brown, and definitely being red as black. Even if I would say, "Oh no, I'm not," I am in Germany. I'm a black woman. I identify as a black woman, but it's really difficult to know your roots and know your culture if the black parent is not there, but people tell you that you're black. So I kind of went on a journey of discovering Kenya when I was a young adult. When I was 19, I had the chance to finally go back to Kenya, and reconnect with my family there and find out more about just where my dad was from, and where half of me was from.
Mhm.
And in 2014, I was in the B squad so fast forward to 2014, I was in the B squad of the German national team.
Mhm.
And it was the first time that I was then also allowed to go to a European championship. I was still how to say, like the substitute, but I was allowed to go and witness this. And I thought, okay, maybe now I've reached a height where I can actually go out into the world and say I'm a professional, I'm good, and I want to tell you about my sport. Before that, I didn't feel comfortable, and so that need to connect with Kenya, and also that passion about my sport was going like, okay, yeah, you fence for Germany, and you love that. But in Germany, everyone knows about fencing, and we have a fencing culture.
Yeah. Mhm.
Why not go back home to Kenya and apply what you've learned and show people what you've learned through this sport and how beautiful this sport is? So, 2014, I started bringing clothing donations to Kenya and connecting with a few people that I could find that even knew what fencing was. And over the years, my engagement got bigger and bigger and bigger. And in 2019, we were kind of like, okay, let's see if we can turn this into a federation. And we did. It became a federation which is affiliated with the International Fencing Federation. So,
Beautiful.
fully acknowledged by that and the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. So another year and another year and another year goes by, and we had the World Championships in Egypt in 2022. And two things happened. One, I won the silver medal for Germany, which was just amazing and beautiful and great, and a dream
Clap,
come true.
clap.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thanks. And two, it was the year that the first Kenyan athlete went to a fencing championship.
Wow.
And in fencing, it's like this: we have the flags of all the participating nations, like hung up underneath the roof. And so imagine standing on the podium. We have the medal ceremony, and I kind of look up, and I see all the flags, and of course, I'm looking at the German one because that's the one I'm representing. But I also see the Kenyan one, and literally that day, I felt like I won a medal on the African continent. I kind of felt like my dad was with me that whole day. Looking over my
Mhm.
shoulder at a few tight matches that I won by like one touch, and you always feel like, oh God, someone was there with me, right? Helping me.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe there's more to this than just helping grow the sport by words and clothing donations and paperwork. And so I flew back home, first to Germany, then to Kenya. I had my medal in my pocket, and I actually just wanted to show it to my family. But some press approached me, and so I did an interview, a TV interview. And I was so surprised because in Germany, almost no one knew me.
Yeah.
I won a silver medal, but somehow because the sport is not like it's known, but Olympic sports don't get a lot of space in Germany.
Yeah.
No one saw that. But I fly back to Kenya. People don't even understand the sport, but they're like, "You won a silver at Worlds? Oh my God! You like we claim you." And I was like, "Yeah, but I won it for Germany." Like, no, doesn't matter. You're Kenyan. We
Oh
claim you.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And all this of people just being so excited, I thought, you know what, I can, if I do this for Kenya, if I switch, sky's the limit because every step that I take will be groundbreaking and will benefit the next generations. Whereas in Germany, if I win a silver at World Championships, it's been done before. and almost no one pays attention.
Mm.
So you win it for yourself, which is great, but I also really, really believe in inspiring the next generation and passing on knowledge. So, but if no one knows about you, then you can't pass on anything, right?
Mhm.
So
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Let's Talk, the AfroStyle podcast with Amaka and Camelia. If you're enjoying the conversation, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and YouTube for new episodes and exclusive content. Stay updated on the latest news, insights, and behind-the-scenes peeks by following us on social media or emailing us at info@afrostylemag.com. We're always on the lookout for inspiring guests, fresh perspectives, and exciting collaborations. Reach out and let's connect. We'd love to hear from you. Now back to the show.
Yeah.
So can
yeah.
I clarify this? Was fencing in Kenya kind of non-existent?
Pretty much.
Yes.
So what does it look like now? Like what's the state of it now?
So we have the federation, we have a few clubs, we have a handful of coaches who were fortunate enough to go to the coaching school in South Africa. The International Federation has a school there, so they have a diploma, they can work as coaches. I'm mentoring one of them, a young lady called Ashley, which I'm like really proud of. And we're slowly trying to grow the sport. So whenever I can, I fly to Kenya, I do media tours, I do exhibitions to just, not just talk, but also show people in real life, what it's all about. Last December, I organized a week-long exhibition, which was super cool because every day we went to a different place. So we went to some international schools, but we also went to some slums. And this is like something I'm very passionate about because, yes, it's kind of still an elitist sport, but wherever I'm involved, I want to make sure that anyone gets a chance to at least experience it once. So I'm aware if I go to a slum, the kids won't get a fencing club next week, but I give them the time of the day and I talk to them and I engage with them and show them my sport. And at least, that will be a core memory. And maybe the generation after will have a club even in those areas of Nairobi. Yeah.
That is tremendous.
It's
That
really,
is just
really cool.
absolutely amazing.
Now that you have this is the journey that you have taken. Do you
Mhm.
feel I don't know if the word is whole, or do you feel more connected to your home, Kenya, to who you
Mhm.
are? Is it
Mm.
because kind of I think that this was a path that you were meant, this was a journey that you were meant to take, and by the grace of the Most High, your father kind of walked with you and brought you
Mhm.
to where you are now. So do you feel now more of a connection now with pretty much a foreign sport? How ironic is
Mhm.
that, right? But it
Yeah.
has brought you full circle to your homeland.
I think, yeah, the connection is deeper. I mean, the connection with my family was there before, but I kind of feel, in terms of full circle, you have to understand. My dad had 7 siblings, so there were 8 kids, and he was the only one who had the opportunity. Of course, he worked hard for it. He won an academic scholarship, but nonetheless, he was the only one who had that opportunity of leaving Kenya in pursuit of a just brighter future, I would say, and also a great education. But it also meant that my grandmother had to let her son go. I mean, he was 20 or maybe 21, something in
Mm.
between, when he left, and this was in the 70s. This was before FaceTime, before everyone having a phone. So they were writing letters. And
Wow.
when my father died, he was in his early 40s. And so in those 20 plus years, his mom saw him 2 times
Mm.
when we visited Kenya.
Wow.
So that is for me such a huge sacrifice just in pursuit of that, yeah, that the good education and those chances. And he went all the way to Europe, and yes, he met my mom and my mom's family, and he had great moments and great friends in Europe, but he was also a black man. And let's not sugarcoat it. Poland in the 70s was different, and Poland in the 70s was, let's say, not ready, because they didn't have any exposure. So there were also bad moments. And my hometown in the south of Germany, slightly better, but also there, there weren't a lot of Africans. So for me, it feels like, okay, I have all these opportunities because my dad and my grandmother or the Kenyan family sacrificed and let him go. I should. It's like almost my duty to come
Mm.
back home to Kenya and bring what I've learned and what I was exposed back home, and just give other people a chance and opportunities, because yeah, my cousins are just as bright as I am, and I was just lucky enough I didn't work for it. I was born in Europe. I was born with a super strong passport and with so many opportunities, and I can travel and I can do stuff, and a lot of my cousins cannot. So
Mm.
or a lot of young Kenyans just cannot, right? Because you need to get a visa for
Mhm.
everything. So
Everything.
I think I should go back home and yeah, and just bring what I have back home.
Did you get pushback though from people in Germany?
Yeah, were they like
Did they have an
pissed to
issue with
lose
it?
you?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm
I mean,
sure
yeah,
they
they're like,
should be.
"Where are they all at?" What was
yeah.
the I know we're joking about it, but I'm
Yeah.
wondering if you had pushback, and was it brutal?
I mean, the federation and I, we split amicably. So that was kind of like I said, listen, guys, 15 years on the highest level for you. I won you 3 international medals. I think I've done my part, everything that I could, and now just let me go. Like, because the federation that lets you go could ask for a ban. They could ask for you to be suspended for up to 3 years, which
No.
kind of
What?
What?
yeah, which can break a career, right? And I was just like, guys, if we do this, no one benefits, because my mind is set. I want to leave. I want to do this for Kenya. If you ban me, I can't win medals for you. I can't do any good home. So let me just go. So with the federation, it was cool. But of course, you know how it is. If you do something, if you do something publicly, people will always have an opinion. And I always say
Mm.
the same people that said that I wasn't German enough, because let's be clear, we had that. There were people who said, what? She's in the German national team, but her mom's Polish, her dad is Kenyan. She's not even German. Were then the same people on the internet who said, how can she? How she's, she's like betraying the country that she was born in. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not, for Kenya is not a anti-Germany. That's what I always say. I just chose now to do something for Kenya, but that doesn't mean that I'm turning my back or that I'm against Germany. It's just I had to choose. I couldn't do it for both, and I wanted to also do it at an age where I can still fence on the highest level, because yes, I could have waited some more years and then just be the granny on the fencing strip fencing for Kenya. But I said no, I want to do all the big competitions for Kenya and see if,
Mhm.
if I can win a medal also for the continent, because the continent hasn't won many
Oh.
medals in fencing yet.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Let's Talk, the AfroStyle podcast with Amaka and Camelia. If you're enjoying the conversation, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and YouTube for new episodes and exclusive content. Stay updated on the latest news, insights, and behind-the-scenes peeks by following us on social media or emailing us at info@afrostylemag.com. We're always on the lookout for inspiring guests, fresh perspectives, and exciting collaborations. Reach out and let's connect. We'd love to hear from you. Now back to the show.
Yeah.
Mm.
So let's do a little braggadocious stuff, like brag a little bit. Homegirl went to the Olympics. How was that for you?
Yes, it was everything. I've
Mhm.
dreamt of the Olympics since I was 10.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw them on TV and I was hooked. It was just crazy. Like this whole idea of the world's best athletes gathering and just celebrating sports for weeks, just amazing.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was great, but I didn't get very far. I lost in the first round, which is we have a really brutal system, right? So there's no group stages. You just go. We have a world ranking, and we're paired against each other. And after the first round, 50% go. They just go home.
Wow.
Mhm.
And so that was weird. It took me really a while to digest that, because you train so hard and you focus so much on one day, and then the fencing match was 9 minutes plus the golden score. I lost by one touch. And so after that golden score, they were kind of like ushering you out, being like, okay, thank you, bye. And now the next people come on. And you're like, wait, what? It's like what 1
Pissed.
p.m. Yeah,
Man,
like,
I
I'm
know.
like, it's
So
1 p.m.
pissed.
and we're done. I'm supposed to leave. What's happening? So that was crazy. But I had for the last years, I had a really great sports psychologist, and we had similar situations obviously before. Can you still hear me? Ooh,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
we-
We can
yeah, okay. So we had similar situations before with high pressure moments. And we always said, okay,
Mm.
how do we want to define success? And we said, if we do everything in the prep and everything on competition day to be present, to be focused, to be prepared, to do everything we wanted to do in terms of how do I want to react to this or that,
Mhm.
then the outcome is the outcome, but we can be proud of ourselves. And I know for a fact
Mm.
that I gave everything in
Yeah.
the preparation and on that day. I mean, the competition was the first day of the Olympics, so I didn't even go to the opening ceremony, which was the night before. I missed that. You know, I dressed up in the beautiful dress that Team Kenya had on. I took some pics and I went back, turned into my pajamas, and tried to sleep while everyone
Yeah.
was out on the boats, at the
Yeah.
opening
And
ceremony.
Well, no, because then you don't. If you did, and then things didn't work out the next day, you'd be like, oh, it's because I made that
it
Yeah.
choice.
no, it makes
But
sense.
yeah, you got to do what you got
I
to do.
get it. I get it. But still, I'll be pissed. I miss celebrating.
Yeah.
I one of
I
those
just
parties.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I went to bed.
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't win, and then you
Yes.
guys are going to kick me out. At least let me
Yeah.
enjoy. Let me
Yeah.
just enjoy
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I would be pissed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
would be pissed. But the beauty of what you just said is the fact that you gave it your all. It didn't
Yes.
end the way you wanted. But how
Mm.
many people can say that I went to the Olympics, something that you dreamed about at 10?
Mm.
That
Yes.
is a
yeah.
win in itself. And the
Yeah.
beauty about it is taking the lesson from that is like, okay,
Mhm.
now that you've experienced it firsthand, when you go
Yeah.
back again, you know how to handle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the way
Yeah.
you take it.
I looked it up. So the Olympians every 4 years, the people that actually participate are 0.0000017% of the world's population. And that's
Mm.
how exclusive being an Olympian is. It's like
Yes.
one and a
That's
half a
so
million
cool.
or something like this. And so I was like, you know what? Looking at this, of course, we got to determine three who win a medal, but just
Mhm.
being there, just having
Yeah.
qualified, I mean, yeah, I lost, but I was ranked like I think 10th or 11th in the world.
Mhm.
I won 2 African championships before. It's not like
Say
someone just
it.
handed me a ticket. It's like I
Brag
earned
about
that
it. It's
ticket.
okay. You can brag about it. You are an Olympian.
Yeah.
Well, what I
They will
love,
never take that away from you.
yeah, I love that
Yeah.
you mentioned there's a sports psychologist. I never even
Yeah.
thought of that.
Mm,
But when you
mm,
are that level of an athlete,
Mhm.
that's crucial to have someone help
yeah.
you take it and really look at it in a healthy way because that much
Yeah.
pressure I mean you see it like even with the athletes in the US like
Mhm.
it's easy
Mm,
to lose your sense of self and your grounding I'm sure with that much
totally.
pressure
Totally.
right
Yeah. And it can
Yeah.
definitely mess with you mentally
yeah
because the idea of you're
Yeah.
right
Definitely.
here, this is the world
Yeah.
at your fingertips.
Yeah.
I can understand why you would have someone there to
Yeah.
like.
is that normal like to
Yeah, yeah. I
okay
would say these days, high level athletes, they have them. I mean, it's super good that most of us have this now because like generations before,
yeah imagine
they didn't, and you can see it. Like you can really see it because
Mhm.
yeah, of course, we have to be tough on ourselves. We have to be like super focused, but you also shouldn't lose the joy. There are like so many aspects. Also, I mean, okay, I didn't win a medal as I wanted to, but I've met people who won medals and still had a depression after the games because
yeah
it's
sure
insane having so many people focusing on you, cheering you on, giving you those accolades and saying like, "Oh my God, you're so great." Because there's always like a come down. It's kind of like you performed like a I don't know, like a band on a or like a singer on a stage.
Mhm.
People cheered you on, but then there's a moment when you're in your room by yourself. And if you don't know who you are,
Mm,
what your values are, what's really important to you, and who the real people in your life are, it's super easy to lose yourself.
Wow.
I think if you don't have that, we know it from pro athletes, right? Substance abuse,
for sure
addictions, and all kinds. It makes sense because yeah, people are so focused in you. And one moment people tell you, "Oh my God, you're great." The next they tell you that you're bad. Like it's important.
well
I
I
would just say it's super
yeah
important. Yeah.
And it's making me think about, like, those young gymnasts, like,
Yeah.
to be going through that and to be going through
Hmm.
puberty,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
god, oh my
Yeah.
god. Like, you need that kind of professional
That helps.
help.
Yeah.
Especially
And
when
and
they're
women,
go
yeah,
ahead.
and I
Sorry.
think Yeah, I think with, especially also as a female athlete, of course the men have their,
Mm.
struggles as well. But as a woman, you're already scrutinized all
Oh
the
my
time, right?
God.
Very right.
And I talked
Absolutely.
about it before the Olympics. I was kind of like, you know what? I'm half, right? Half black, half white, identify as a black woman, but people have an opinion on our bodies all the time.
Oh my
You
God.
know, I go to Kenya, I'm skinny. I come to Europe, I can be considered bulky. One moment someone says my hips are too wide, too small, too blah blah blah. And I'm like, really? Like really? And if we all want to use platforms, right? Because that's also how you get sponsors, or that's how you can tell people about what you're doing. I stopped reading the comments because
Mhm.
honestly, it's silly. I can talk about political issues or my sports achievements, and someone will say, oh my god, you've got legs for days, and I'm like, okay, thank you, but that is not the issue right now. So, you know
That's so true. Which actually, Doria, just kind of like going ahead of the questions that I'm trying to ask. She just brought up something. I know that you're an advocate for body positivity.
Oh yeah.
yes.
So it does make sense when you just brought that. I was like, yep, that was where I was also going to. What was the fundamental thing? What was the thing that happened? Was it via experiences, or is it with your own personal experiences, or from what you've seen in competition to other people? What got you into really expressing the need for body positivity?
And I think it's just being a woman and being
Mm.
older than, I don't know, 5. I
Oh,
mean, it starts so young that people comment and
oh my
people
God.
Wow.
want to reduce us to just our looks and everything. And I just wanted to say I mean, I really, I love myself.
Hmm.
I've been told that I'm arrogant because of this, but no, I appreciate my body and what it can do for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes I don't want to be, or a lot of times, I don't want to be reduced to just my looks. And so I thought we need to talk about this. It's so upsetting if we comment, and I see it in the fencing hall as well, because it can be a really harsh environment, and people will be like, oh my God, I think she gained some weight, or I think she lost some. Is she in trouble? And then, you're like, hey, let's calm down. This is still a human being. Maybe she gained some weight because she went to the gym. Maybe she lost some weight because she's really struggling mentally right now. So let her be her. So I was just like, we need to be more compassionate towards ourselves and towards other women, because it's tough. It's tough. And I mean, you can never be enough. That's another thing. We try and try and try, and someone will still critique something. And
Mhm.
I've been to places in the world where my look is really appreciated. I was like, okay, cool, check. But I've been to places in the world where being brown is not the beauty standard.
Mm.
Mhm.
Totally.
Okay,
Well, no,
you
that's
know?
just so crazy because when you see something like, and you realize that it's just an opinion of this area code, and then you go somewhere
Yeah,
else, and then you're
yeah,
like, oh, maybe it's not that important. If like here I'm
yeah,
a 10 and there I'm a 4, like who cares,
yeah,
right? But it's always the people who are doing the biggest criticisms are usually the ones that are sitting on a couch, not looking so great themselves, like just like
Projecting.
projecting. They
Projecting.
they do these things like on Instagram all the
yeah,
time where it's just like, okay, let's see the actual faces of the people making these types of comments. And
Yeah.
it's like,
You won't see the face.
That's the
You
thing.
won't
I
see
was
the
just about
face.
to
It's
say you
always
won't
an
even see
an
their face.
account with like ABCD123 and 0 followers. Okay,
yeah,
Yeah,
great.
exactly. And
they're
I'm
just
like,
getting power out of
Yeah,
trying to make you feel less, like more insecure. And I think that's
yeah,
part of the problem. Like
yeah.
you have to, if you're strong within yourself, they
Mm.
can't take it away from you. But how long does it take for a woman to get to that point, like where she doesn't feel susceptible to that kind of stuff?
hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
thing is that
But
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I don't think we can ever be at 100. When I say that I love myself and I'm comfortable, I would say on the bad days I'm content because I just accepted that, well, I have one life as far as I know and one
mhm,
body. And so far it's served me really well. So who
mhm.
am I to complain? And on the good days, I would say like, oh no, no, girl, no, it's good. But of course there are days when I'm like, I don't know, but at least I always try to be content because
Yeah, it's natural and
choice do we
human.
have?
Yeah, human.
Yeah.
So just a few, one or two more questions before we let you go. I know you have other things to do, but now, like I said, or when we started the conversation, I said fencing is not something that you see in Africa.
Mm,
Um, not only fencing, gymnastics. I remember, I don't know what competition I was watching. I don't know if it was the Olympics or the African Games or some game where I think it was either Nigeria or Ghana. I'm thinking it's Nigeria was
mhm.
part of the a gymnastics competition.
Yeah.
And the girl did her a floor routine, and I was shocked because I was like, "Oh my god, this is great."
Mm.
But
Yeah.
unfortunately, her floor routine, she fell a few times and everything.
Okay.
And so in my mind, I'm like, who are they? Who are the coaches coaching these
Mhm,
people? You know?
mhm.
So I would love to see more of what you're doing in the continent. The only places I can think of, like you actually mentioned, is South Africa. They have something
Mhm,
going on there where they're
Okay.
coaching, people.
mhm.
What do you think it would take? Like, why is it that we're not seeing more competition other than the usual, the track and field? I think that's pretty much the main thing. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. What would it take for other sports to invest in the continent and say, hey, we can, well, maybe basketball, they're now looking at basketball, but outside
Yeah.
of that,
Mm.
you don't see any other sport. What would it take for,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
the sporting industry to invest in the continent?
Yeah. So the thing is this, when it comes to Olympic sports, you have the International Olympic Committee, right? That's like the one who oversees the games. But then
Mhm.
there are national Olympic committees. And every national Olympic committee can accept a new sports federation in the country. So it's not, of course, gymnastics can come to the continent and further it, but you need a national federation that says we want to do gymnastics in, let's say, Ghana or Nigeria or Kenya. And then that federation has to do good work. And that is something that I can tell you in Kenya, it's been extremely difficult just progressing because some people don't take their job seriously. They will open up a federation and then just be like, great, we have an annual budget and now let's sit. And they don't develop the sports.
Mm.
And it's really sad because, for example, in Kenya, I think we have almost maybe not the winter sports, but the summer sports. We have a lot of federations, which I think could be bigger, because the kids are there, the youth is there, the people who are interested in sports are there, but they don't get access. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to come back to Kenya was also because I thought I can bring that access, I can bring that knowledge because I have connections to the International Fencing Federation. Like I know people know me. I've been in the sport long enough. I know what it takes to make an elite athlete. Um, but I've also had my hurdles, right? And if I weren't a very persistent person, I would have given up for sure. Because
Mm.
sometimes it's like, what are we even talking about? Why is this still, why is this not bigger? Why are we not developing? Why am I talking, and after a year I don't see any results, right? So I think it's yeah, the sports can come, but also the continent, the countries should really look at themselves and be like, do we want to give our youth the chance? Because yes, we have fantastic track athletes in Kenya. Fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
We always had good long distance, middle distance runners. Now the sprinters have shown what they can do. Like, fantastic.
Mhm.
But we have 42 different ethnicities in Kenya. I think maybe even more, but for sure 42. Not all of them look the same. The Kalenjin, who are like the built for running for days,
Mhm,
look
mhm,
different than, for example, my people, the Luo or
mhm.
Kikuyu or Kamba. So not everyone wants or can be a long distance runner. So give these other kids who are maybe, built like a Simone Biles, give them a chance. Give them a gymnastics federation that actually does the
Huh.
work. And I guarantee you we will have world-class athletes because it's not the talent. I've seen it. I've went I
Mm.
went to the last shack in the last slum in Nairobi and I showed kids together with the young coaches fencing like a fish to water. So much talent, so much drive,
Wow.
so much passion. If you tell them come back tomorrow, they'll do it. For a minute, we even had disabled fencing. There was a young
Huh.
girl that told me she was taking a bus 45 minutes one way, 45 minutes the other way, just to have 45 minutes with us. and we couldn't even provide the wheelchair that you need for disabled fencing. She was sitting on a wooden bench, and she just said, I have something to do. I love this. I can get out of the house. It's not that my family doesn't love me, but they don't have the time to be with me all day. They need to, earn money, support us. So this
Mhm.
is something that I can do. This is a hobby. And
Wow.
who knows? If we bring the structures, I'm sure we can be in the Olympics, Paralympics, African Games, all of it. It's just a matter of people like really doing the work and bringing the access, like access to those kids. And yes, now we have you know parts of the NBA in Africa. Great.
Mhm.
But someone came and actually brought those basketballs and bought and built those courts, and then the kids were there. The tall Africans were there, and the tall Kenyans, and said, let's go, let's play
Yeah,
ball.
that's and I think, well, the thing with and the NBA is that it's a popular sport, so it's
Yeah.
easy to get that attention. But
Mm.
things like fencing, gymnastics is a popular sport. I'm just surprised that
Mhm.
they're not even investing a lot of time, like
Mm.
people to help train them. Because I'm telling you, I can't remember if it was Nigeria or not. I'm not, my
Mhm.
family is Nigerian,
Mhm.
whatever country she was representing, I was so proud because I was like shocked. My mouth
Mhm.
was open. But when she just started stumbling, I was like, oh my God, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that just popped in my head. So it's a good thing that
Yeah.
you're actually saying this because now it makes sense. How would
Mm.
you like people to support what you're doing? Not just you, but other people who are trying to bring attention to,
Mhm.
sporting opportunities in Africa. How can people go about doing that?
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Let's Talk, the AfroStyle Podcast with Amaka and Camelia. If you're enjoying the conversation, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and YouTube for new episodes and exclusive content. Stay updated on the latest news, insights, and behind-the-scenes peeks by following us on social media or emailing us at info@afrostylemag.com. We're always on the lookout for inspiring guests, fresh perspectives, and exciting collaborations. Reach out and let's connect. We'd love to hear from you. Now back to the show.
Yeah. So I would say if you are just a regular person, support us on the platforms, because obviously we know numbers are kind of the thing that you need. If I have 100,000 followers on Instagram, I can approach those companies and I can say, okay, listen, if I post something about you, it will be big, you will be seen. And with those companies, I can go to Kenya and I can build stuff. So I would say if you're a company or if you are a private individual who just, wants to support with some finances, come find us and we'll build something together. Like my next project is to build a fencing hall in Nairobi,
Oh my
and
God.
we'll make it happen. And if you say, okay, I can't give you any financial aid, then just support by liking and following and just watching the journey. Because as we talked about the athlete who stumbled, what happens a lot of times in African or for African athletes, and also Latin American athletes, because I have a lot of friends from Latin America as well.
Mhm, mhm.
They say, I want to go to competition X. Can I please get a budget? Can I please get a flight ticket? When they get the flight ticket and the confirmation a day before, or sometimes on the same day. And then you have to pack your bag and you have to run to the airport, and you might be almost late for your competition. And then you're supposed to compete on the highest level against people who had everything coordinated for them,
Wow.
Yeah.
planned in
Mhm.
advance, just came with a physio. I mean, I've done it for the past 3 years that I fenced for Kenya, right? I was Before in Germany, I literally packed my bag, brought my passport to the train station or the airport, and all I had to focus on was fencing.
Wow.
Now I plan my trips, I ask for budgets, I
Oh,
hand in
wow.
my receipts. I became a PR person and a travel agent and a pro athlete. And sometimes my physio, because I can't just take a power gun with me, or a black roll. So it's different. We just compete under completely different conditions.
Mm.
And how can people find you? Like, what is there the
Mhm.
organization? How can people find you?
Yeah, so just find me on Instagram. It's Alexandra Ndolo.
Mhm.
Instagram, LinkedIn, of course. If it's more serious, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. That's where you can find me. Yeah.
One last thing. You sound like a
Yes.
very in-depth spiritual person as I'm speaking to you, and some of the
Mm.
lines you've been saying. What would you say has been said to what has been said to you that you hold on to every time you wake up, you get ready for the day, be it for a competition or just to take a walk down the street? What is it that you
Mm.
stand by every day that keeps you going?
Ooh, I wouldn't say that there's one thing, but so for competitions, I always tell myself to go step by step, and touch after touch. That's like super important because that's how you stay in the moment. And if it comes to the day by day, I don't like being sad. And that sounds so simple, but it's if you look at it, for me, it's like, okay, something was upsetting or someone was mean or something didn't go my way. I don't want to dwell on this for too long. I really like being positive. I like being happy. And there's one thing. My godmother, when I was a teenager, told me every day you can find I think the translation is daisy, that little
Mm-hmm.
white and yellow flower. She said, if you look hard enough, even on the worst day, there's like something small that is good. And that's kind of what I hold on to say,
Mm.
okay, this was a horrible day, but someone smiled at me, or, someone reached out to me, or someone just did something good, or I managed to do something good, and that was really positive. And yeah, and also when you go through your day smiling, I know in Germany sometimes people think I'm insane because Germans, or I like to say we Germans, like to be very strict
Serious,
sometimes,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
serious. Um, when I smile, 9 people might think that I'm crazy, but there's a 10th person who really needed that. And
That
just
is
that
so
small
true.
eye contact, of being like, oh my God, someone saw me, someone smiled at me. That's like, it gives something back to you. So, yeah, the daisies and the smiles and the staying present in the moment, that's what I would say is what keeps me going.
I love that.
I
I
love
love
it.
that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes, Olympians. Yes. Thank you so much. It was such, as I was taking it, I was like, yeah, this is a spiritual person right here. So thank you. Thank you for gracing us
Yeah.
with your presence. You're very
Thank you for having me.
very elegant, very beautiful as well. And just listening to you, and
Thank
I'm
you.
like, this is a lady you don't want to mess with. You
Oh
definitely
yeah,
don't
no.
want
No,
to mess with.
I don't see the
no,
killer side.
Yeah,
But I know there is
yeah,
killer
there is
side.
one that's like, yeah, I'm
it
getting
is,
on
it
right
is.
now, but you don't want to mess with me. That's like
Yeah.
that combination of energy I'm getting from you. So it's such an honor to have you
Yeah,
on here. Thank you for
it
sharing your
really is.
story. Thank you for spreading the word of what you're doing. Thank you for letting people know that what you hear about the African continent, your country being Kenya, is not what it is. And so being able to
No.
tell the story through your
Mhm.
work, through
Mhm.
your eyes,
Mm.
is very, very admirable. So thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you. Any last thing? Any questions for us? Anything that you?
No, just thank you for having me, and it's been a blast. I love sharing my story because I mean, you know how it is. We need to see it in order to imagine it, right? And just the thought of being that person for a young girl or boy or whoever identifies with me, who says like, "Oh my God, maybe I could do this. I could take those steps." Is It's so cool. It's
Mhm.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any way that
Thank
we
you.
can come collaborate with you, feel free to reach out, let us know, and we'll do so via the podcast, via the magazine. We can always find a way to
Oh.
collaborate in some shape or
I
form.
mean, if I can get one of those beautiful photo shoots, I'm in. I love taking
Girl,
pictures.
that is actually, yeah. Actually, I checked out your winning
Right?
number citation. I did check out your pay. I was like, yeah, homegirl is like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay,
You gotta
okay,
celebrate. You gotta
queen.
celebrate.
Definitely, we can definitely do that. Something that we can actually talk about, connect with,
yeah.
and see, a collaboration with you, a photo spread, photo shoot. It's something that we can definitely
Yeah.
look into. Yeah,
With some great African artists and photographers and everything, because we
that's
got so much talent,
so
right?
much.
So much
Yes, yes.
talent.
And
Yeah.
I'm always either for the magazine online or just for
Mm.
the platforms for people to, because it's all about celebrating us,
Yeah.
celebrating our diversity. As a
Yeah.
fencer, as a woman, especially.
Mm.
You're giving us ideas, man. Let's talk about it. All right, my love. Thank you so much for your time. Love to the family. Enjoy the. What time is it there? Enjoy your evening.
It's almost 11 p.m.
Oh,
But it's
geez.
all good.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
It's all
Lord rest his
good.
feet. Thank you, Mama.
Yes,
Thank
I
you for
will. Thanks for having
Take care.
me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Final thoughts.
Okay. I was inspired. I'll start with that.
Dude, she's like not just a championship fencer, she's a championship manifester.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's incredible. Like she gives back so much, she just doesn't even realize the insane scale at which she is giving back to
Mhm.
women, to Kenya with bringing fencing there. Like, what? That's insane.
It's a beautiful story. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's like it's just amazing at the fact that, because I was like, fencing, what exactly? Because you just kind of see people going back and forth. Because I won't lie, it's just that kind of thing. Like, what are they doing? Going back and forth. Whoever touches the person
Oh
wins.
no, dude, it's like
But it's
they have these tiny
precision.
little like feints, and you're like, oh wait, they're faking me out. Like
Yeah.
the degree of movement is just so insanely precision based. Like
Mhm.
to have that kind of focus, and you kind of see it in her that focus. Like she's able to like go into bullet times. I feel like she's just able to like push the noise to the side and just like realize these incredible things.
I mean,
It's
and that's the
amazing.
thing. And she's like full of grace when she's talking,
Mhm.
very elegant.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know, there was this feeling like I was in front of a princess, a queen. I don't know why. It was just
I
this
can see
feeling.
that. I
Yeah,
can
I
see that.
just yeah.
Totally.
So I was just
Totally.
like listening to her, and I'm like, wow, you know. And then she's literally when she's telling us the story of her experience in Africa, in
Mhm.
Kenya,
Mhm.
the story about the disabled girl coming and then what they're doing, and then
Mhm.
as she's explaining further, my mind is blown. Like, wow,
I
she's just like royalty to me.
yeah,
In some
I just think
way.
it's like so amazing that she took her love for a sport and made it something so meaningful.
Mhm.
Because like it's easy to go into your little cubby hole and just focus on the thing that you're working on, but like she took it and brought it back to Kenya and like use it as a platform for so many
Mhm.
other things. Like that's
And
that's so cool.
that's so cool. And the fact
So
that she
dope.
says that the people appreciate it. Like
Mhm.
in Germany, people are like, yeah, whatever. But the people are like in Kenya are like, no, this is us.
Yeah.
She's us. She's represent. And like when she said that, I started thinking, smiling and saying, that is so true. That whenever someone goes and represents, like for example, Nigeria,
Mhm.
and someone wins something, I know people. I'll look at the comments and even people talking. They'll be like, Niger to the world, Niger, because they're like, yes,
Yeah.
she is us and we are her, are
Yeah.
him, kind of thing. So I could really see that. So
Another
yeah.
thing she made me think about is how much harder these athletes that come from less prestigious or funded countries
Yeah.
have to work.
Mhm.
Like how if you're like from one of those red carpet countries, you're just like, okay, where's my flight? But if you're
Mhm.
not, you're like, oh, I'm going today. Let me pack my bag. Let me.
And they
Like
don't play. It's like, because
that's
this is
intense,
their
man.
passion. This is
Yeah.
their, like by hook or crook, we're going to make it on that plane and we're going to do our best. Even if we don't win, they can have it on their resume that I did that. I went there. And that's the mindset that she had to
Hell
develop when
yeah.
it came to Olympics. Is like, you know what? It may have pissed me off, but then you sit back and look at it and say, you know what? Who is it that can call themselves an Olympian? And when she gave the stats, it's like, girl, brush your shoulders off. You
It's
deserve it. You are an
that's wild.
Olympian.
Yeah.
Alexandra Ndolo, you guys go check her out. Check out her
Mhm.
her platforms on LinkedIn as well if you want to work with her. Please, brands, the federation, whoever, the national federation, whatever it is, really take a chance. You are probably missing out on that one kid that can actually change a sport forever, be it in Africa, in Asia, in South America, wherever, Australia. There are opportunities there that you guys are refusing to pay attention to for whatever reason. Like she said, if you guys can just take that opportunity and seek them, you will not be sorry. So, Alexandra, kudos to you. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we definitely hope to have you again. Everyone, thank you for joining us. We hope you learned something, because I did. I was inspired for sure.
So cool.
And I know she was for sure. So, thank you again. Leave your comments, leave your thoughts. We would love to hear from you. Send an email to us, and be sure to like and subscribe to our channels. And until next time, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Let's Talk, the AfroStyle podcast with Amaka and Camelia. We hope you enjoyed it. If you missed other episodes, you can catch up on YouTube and Spotify. And be sure to subscribe, comment, and email us at info@afrostylemag.com. We'd love to hear from you.